In this video, we're going to learn how to convert units using dimensional analysis. First, we need a little bit of terminology. So, a conversion factor is a fraction with equivalent measurements in the numerator and denominator. For example, something like 12 inches over 1 foot, or 1 hour over 60 minutes, or even 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. These are all examples of conversion factors. Okay? Now, in order for us to be able to do these problems, we do need a list of useful conversions here. You're not ever expected to memorize conversions, and you just have to know how to use them. Some useful conversions are listed in this box right here. We're going to be using these to do the problems that are stated. So let's read the instructions. To convert unit A to unit B, what you want to do is you want to find a path there and then multiply by the conversion factors so that units always cancel until you're left with the units that you want. That means if you want to go, say, from cups to quarts, you need to find a path there. So we could say cups go to pints, pints go to quarts, and then that would get you your path. We're going to cancel units. Now, you'll see what I mean when I do the first example, but what you want to do is you want to multiply by conversion factors each time the unit's canceling. Let's try the first problem, and you guys can get an idea of how to do this. First problem says 3 quarts is equal to how many cups? Okay, so we're going to start off with 3 quarts. What we're going to do is we're going to find a conversion factor or a path that brings us to cups. And so we know that quarts go to pints, which then go to cups. So let's start converting. We know that according to that chart above, 1 quart is 2 pints. So I need to multiply it by 1 quart on the bottom and 3 pints on the top. I have to do it this way because I want the quarts to cancel. See, my quarts have canceled. Now I want to go from pints to cups. I know that 1 pint is 2 cups. So I'm going to multiply it by 1 pint on the bottom and 2 cups on the top. And again, notice that the pints have canceled. Now I have cups, and that's what I wanted, right? So 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. So this is equal to 18 cups. Alright, so it's that simple. You just need to find a path. Okay, let's try the next example. It says 6 gallons is equal to how many pints? Well, we want to go from gallons to, what's the next thing? We can go to quarts, and then we can go from quarts to pints, and that's going to bring us there. So let's start off with 6 gallons, and we're going to multiply it by 1 gallon is 4 quarts, so I'm going to write 1 gallon here and 4 quarts on the top so that I can cancel my gallons. And then I know that 1 quart is 2 pints. Cancel the quarts. If I multiply them all across, I get 6 times 4 is 24, times 2 is 48, so this is 48 pints. So 6 gallons would be 48 pints. Let's do the next one. Number 3 is a little bit tougher. It says a football field is 100 yards. How many centimeters is this? Okay, well, we need to find a path that goes from yards to centimeters. Let's think about this. We know that yards can go to feet. And then from feet, we can go to inches. And then from inches, we can go to centimeters. This is the only path we have, right? Okay, so let's start with our yards. We're starting off with 100 yards. And because we're going from yards to feet, we know 1 yard is 3 feet. So I'm going to put 1 yard on the bottom and 3 feet on the top. So now we're in feet. We want to go to inches. We know there's 12 inches in a foot. So I'm going to put 12 inches on the top and 1 foot on the bottom because we want to cancel the feet. And then I know that there's 2.54 centimeters in an inch. So 1 inch is going to go on the bottom, 2.54 centimeters goes on the top, and the inches cancel. This is going to be harder to do in my head, so I'm going to multiply these out using a calculator. So let's see what we have. We have 100 times 3 times 12 times 2.54. We're left with 9144 centimeters. Okay. Alright, so sometimes it can be a little tricky, right? Because we have to find a path, and sometimes it's not the easiest path, but you can see that it's the same method every time. Let's do one more problem. It says John ran a 26.2 mile marathon. How many kilometers is this? This is a natural question, by the way. If you ever have a European friend visit you, they like to use kilometers instead of miles, right? In fact, a lot of people use kilometers when they run anyway, when they say they ran a 10K, 20K, something like that. So we need to go from miles to kilometers, but look at our table. We don't have miles to kilometers. All we have is miles to yards, yards to feet, feet to inches, inches to centimeters, centimeters to meters, and then meters to kilometers. Yikes, that's a huge chain. However, we have to do this. This is the only thing we can do with our current table here. So let's get started. We have 26.2 miles, and then we know that there's 1,760 yards in a mile. And now the miles cancel. Now we're at yards. We have to go to feet. We know that 1 yard is 3 feet. And then we know that there's 1 foot is in 12 inches. So we have 1 foot, 12 inches. And then we know that in 1 inch, there's 2.54 centimeters. And then from centimeters to meters, we know there's 100 centimeters in a meter. Let's be careful. Notice we have to put the centimeters on the bottom, right? And now the centimeters cancel. Finally, there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So we have 1,000 meters. We have to put meters on the bottom, kilometer on the top. Okay. Cancel the meters. There you go. So we have a lot of stuff to multiply here. Let's go ahead and multiply. On the tops we have 26.2 times 1,760 times 3 times 12 times 2.54. On the top I have a giant number. I actually have 4,216,481.28. On the bottom I have 100 times 1,000. We have 100,000. And that's all in kilometers, right? So if I actually do the division, 4,216 or 81.28, and I divide it by 100,000, I end up with 42.16. It keeps going, but it says to round to the nearest hundredth, right? 42.16 kilometers. So now we know that a 26.2 mile marathon is really 42 kilometers, right? Okay, so that is it for our conversions. I hope that you can practice a lot, and this becomes quite easy once you do that. Thanks very much for watching. Good luck. In this video, we're going to learn how to convert units using dimensional analysis. First, we need a little bit of terminology. So a conversion factor is a fraction with equivalent measurements in the numerator and denominator. For example, something like 12 inches over 1 foot, or 1 hour over 60 minutes, or even 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. These are all examples of conversion factors. Okay? Now, in order for us to be able to